Welcome back to A Different Opinion. Hopefully you guys have had a good day, and we've got a pretty interesting one here from BBC News. I don't really like the BBC that much, but I mean, they'd still have a little glimmer of hope of being not just biased news all the time, unlike CNN, of course. But I'll jump straight into this one here. I mean, it is a little bit about what's happening in Asia with just tensions rising at the moment. I mean, it's pretty crazy. I mean, I live here in Australia, and all you hear about is, what China's doing, what North Korea's doing, what South Korea's doing, what's happening in Asia. Yeah, it's pretty worrisome, I guess, because your whole news feed nearly is just taken up by, what's this country doing? What's this country doing? If you've seen in the past wars, there's always a rise of news that keeps following, kind of countries preparing for something coming up. And I definitely hope it's not a war, because that is the last thing the world needs right now. So I'll jump straight into it. South Korea and the US fire missiles in warning to North Korea. So this one's just from yesterday. South Korea and the US launched 8 missiles on Monday in response to a volley of ballistic missiles fired by North Korea the previous day. So I mean, North Korea has been doing a lot of tests, I believe. Yeah, as you can see here, it comes as Pyongyang continues to escalate its missile tests. They are ramping them up big time. I don't like it. I mean, North Korea really don't know what they're going to do. Like, that place is so badly run that it could start a big war. And I mean, with South Korea right there, it's a worry. South Korea's President Yoon Suk-yeol, who's the new president, I believe he only came into office this year, said his government would respond sternly to any provocation from the northern neighbor. We will make sure there isn't a single crack in protecting the lives and property of our people. Speaking at a war memorial event in Seoul, he added that North Korea's nuclear and missile programs are reaching the level of threatening not only peace on the Korean peninsula, but also in Northeast Asia and the world, according to Yonhap. The US and South Korea regularly hold joint military exercises, which often anger North Korea. I mean, America, they have joint military exercises with a lot of countries. I mean, here in Australia, a lot of times when I'm just catching a flight, for example, down to Brisbane or whatever, there might be like literally probably 100 or more US military people there in their uniform and everything, because they come and do trained exercises with Australia. And they do it with a lot of countries, not just Australia or South Korea, things like that. And now they're ramping it up in Greece, I believe, as well. Early on Monday, hours after North Korea had fired several missiles off its east coast, the two allies launched 8 surface-to-surface army tactical missile systems, 1 from the US and 7 from South Korea. Analysts say the moves are South Korea showing off its muscle with the aid of US weaponry. It is the second retaliatory display from the US and South Korea in as many weeks, with a similar move made last week after Pyongyang fired a series of missiles in the immediate aftermath of US President Joe Biden's visit to the region. Ooh, maybe that's saying something, that it was a bit of a bad meeting with with him, of course. Such displays had been rare under South Korea's previous administration. President Yoon, who was inaugurated last month, has pledged to take a more hardline approach to North Korea. The isolated communist state has test-fired dozens of missiles in recent months, including an intercontinental ballistic missile for the first time in 5 years. The UN prohibits North Korea from ballistic and nuclear weapon tests and has imposed strict sanctions over previous tests. It's pretty annoying to see that they keep doing it. Obviously, the sanctions are not really doing much to the higher-ups in North Korea. Obviously, the poor people there, the pretty much what they would call them peasants, who have nothing and own nothing because it is a communist state, they are the ones hit hard by this. They're the ones that are starving to death because all their food's being taken. It's nearly like the Hunger Games, where, in the city, they eat so much and they spew up literally because they have too much food, and people outside of the main city, obviously they have nothing. And then they all dress like stupid and over the top. And you see that as well with a lot of big cities around the world, where you look at celebrities, things like that, just how they dress up ridiculous, and people still, that's eye candy to them, and that's they really look at it and they're like, that's what I want to be. But then you look at those dresses and you're like, who the hell would wear that stupid stuff in reality? But I digress. What I'm trying to get to with this is North Korea they're not scared of all these sanctions that they're being put through. You know, Russia's putting through these sanctions as well. It's just because obviously no one wants to get in a hot war, and North Korea just keeps testing their missiles, and it's, you know, it's pretty worrisome for South Korea. And I mean, the UN, what can the UN do these days? I mean, they are honestly, they've lost so much power in the recent years. But this one here is from Al Jazeera. Obviously, same thing, just kind of stating the exact same thing. I always just kind of pull up two different articles just to show you guys it, just to say it's pretty much the exact same. So I'll jump into this one here. Another thing in Asia, China takes extraordinary measures to build secret naval facility in Cambodia. This is just from 5 hours ago. China is secretly building a naval facility in Cambodia, taking extraordinary measures to conceal the operation, according to the Western officials. Both countries deny the facility is being built, but the Washington Post reports it will be for the exclusive use of Chinese military. The Cambodian embassy in Washington has denied reports, saying Cambodia does not permit foreign military bases. Yet again, he said, she said. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one for sure. And here we go again. China deals with provoking Canadian warplanes with professional powerful measures. Chinese military dealt with Canadian military aircraft recent close-in reconnaissance provocation on China with professional but powerful measures, and demand Canada to desist from further provocations, or Canada shall bear all serious consequences, the Chinese Defense and Foreign Minister said on Monday, recently using the excuse of carrying out UN Security Council resolutions. Canadian military aircraft ramped up its close-in reconnaissance provocations on China, harming China's national security and putting personnel safety at risk on both sides, said Senior Colonel Wu Qian, spokesperson at China's Ministry of National Defense. In a statement on Monday, China strongly condemns such behavior. It's funny how China's so, you know, you're really harming our people and putting our lives in danger, but they do it to like every country in Asia. They're constantly into Taiwan's territory. They're constantly going over Japan's territory. They've come into Australian waters recently with their naval, with a ship. They're doing it through that strait all the time. They're literally in everyone's waters and space all the time, and they're complaining. It's funny how as soon as the shoe's on the other foot, that's when you hear complaints. But it's definitely one to keep a bit of an eye on, I think, is here in Asia, with Russia right there, close to Asia as well. Hopefully it doesn't escalate. But I thought I'd just share that with you guys in case you haven't seen it already. What are your thoughts? Do you think, I mean, North Korea, South Korea, it's pretty rocky at the moment. Hopefully it doesn't end up in another war. Let me know what you think. Do you think it's going to get any worse? Do you think China's actually building for something? I mean, there was one point there where we were pretty much certain China was going to start a World War III, but then they died down a little bit and now they're back up again. So let me know your thoughts. Please like the video if you like the video. Subscribe if you want to see my future videos, and then hopefully I shall see you on the next one. And thanks for watching.